My Twitch chat donated hundreds of dollars to try to ruin my Dungeons & Dragons game. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever D&D story live, because why just tell a story when you can show the story? Today I'm going to show the story of how my Twitch chat completely derailed my campaign live on stream and ended up creating one of the most intense sessions of Dungeons & Dragons that I have ever played. But first, a really quick disclaimer: there will absolutely be spoilers for the beginning portion of the Descent into Avernus Baldur's Gate module, so if you are currently running that and do not want to get spoiled, click away or just walk out of the room and keep the video going. I really need all the watch time. So before we get into any of the exciting bits, let's go over some background context for how this game came to be in the first place. Every single Thursday, I host a Dungeons & Dragons game live on my Twitch channel called Into the Fire, which is essentially a homebrewed version of the Descent into Avernus D&D module. Now, there are incentives put in place that people who are watching in chat can use to influence the game themselves. These incentives can both come in the form of donations or channel points, which you just accrue for free by watching the stream. The incentives are as follows. $5, you can give a healing potion to any of the player characters. $10 gives them an inspiration die. $15 gives them a loot drop. $20 heals them up to full hit points for 100 hit points. $25 makes a crazy wild magic surge happen. And $50 or 50,000 channel points spawns a random encounter. Now, again, for those of you who don't know, I have created my very own monster manual based off of the biggest bads from video games all around. There will be a link to it right up here if you want to see the playlist that I've already put up on my channel. And redeeming this incentive will cause one of these random encounters that I have created to just appear in the game right away, regardless of wherever the players happen to be. So if that's enough context for you, you can probably already guess what's coming, but let me set the stage for you. So the party had been investigating a series of murders committed throughout Baldur's Gate, which led them all the way up to the Van Thamper family, a group of nobles who lived in Baldur's Gate who were contracting a group of assassins to commit murders throughout the city to basically claim that the mercenary guild protecting it wasn't very good at their job. Duke Thalamra Van Thamper was going to use this as leverage to put herself into the position of Grand Duke and all of the dastardly things that would come with that. So the group had tracked her down to a dungeon underneath her villa. Now, the Van Thamper family villa usually looks like this. It is a sprawling dungeon that would take probably hours of a normal session to get through, filled with dozens of cultists and not that much loot to show for it. And having ran this adventure before, I was getting a little bit sick of the tedious nature that was the intro chapter of the Baldur's Gate adventure. So being the fantastic DM that I am, I decided to turn this dungeon into this. That's right, I basically shrunk the entire dungeon down to the entrance to get into it, the room where the characters freed one of the main NPCs that will lead them to the next part of their adventure, and the final boss room. And the loot room, of course, which was a fantastic idea in hindsight, because what happened next would cause those three rooms to take up the entire next session. The characters were able to almost effortlessly free the NPC prisoner who was important to the story later, and then they were able to move on directly to the boss room. The cultists don't acknowledge your presence, and then the devil just turns around and again just looks at you and just mutters in a language that most of you, except for Marcella, you just hear
Infernal.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So you both hear uninvited guests. And the devil, with its really long tail, carves across and slices the necks of all of the cultists that are in a line.
Killing them?
Now, most of you watching are probably very confused by that action, and I can explain it simply by saying, I really want to get the party out of Chapter 1 fast. So the motive I came up with for the devil taking this sacrificial action was to make it some sort of offering to the fiendish overlord Zerial, something or another, just making the fight easier so it would go quicker. But then this happened, and as all of their blood washes to the floor, it pools up, starts separating out.
This isn't Ray of Frosting. An area of water doesn't freeze it, so.
No, that is not how Ray of Frost works.
I was also thinking of figuring out a way to freeze it.
Wow, wait a minute. Holy shit. Big Ben with a 50. Perfect timing.
Wow.
So, with that,
for a random encounter, sweet.
With that, as the blood begins to coagulate, it starts to create a formation that doesn't feel like blood should be moving that way, and starts to move around in a very large circular motion and starts to come up into this malformed figure, which then produces 9 more smaller figures. Now, I don't know how well off financially you guys are, but $50 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to be spending on a single streamer, let alone a single stream. And at the time of recording this video, I have an average of like 14 viewers. So there was absolutely no way I would have anticipated someone to actually use the final tier, the most expensive incentive I have to donate to the stream. But they did. And then,
Oh, I think Des wanted to react.
Yeah, I had a reaction.
but what do you want to do with that?
I wanted to cast hold person on the devil.
Now, Reswitch here is unfamiliar with D&D. This is his first game he's ever played, so he does not know that hold person only works on humanoids and would not work on fiends like this devil.
Okay.
I mean,
roll.
the action already happened. This isn't.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
No, that's fine. No, no. If you want to do that, that's fine. Go for it.
We asked to react after he already cut the necks of the cultists. So I don't. Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, then, yeah, never mind. We'll just let it happen.
So I wouldn't waste your spell right now.
I mean, yeah. All I'm
it's
saying
fine.
is this what's happening right now is not a result of anything he is currently doing. The action was already taken. So thank you to Commander for saving our newbie player when things were about to get super rough. Well, so yeah. So the blood begins to coagulate as it forms this hulking mass that then spawns out little bit more of these smaller blobs attached to it that then like protract out as shields as this figure protrudes out these 9 shields with equal amount of spears, all angling and pointing towards you. And with that, we are going to pick that up next time.
Oh my god!
Because we are at the end, so we will pick up that random encounter that was just spawned in next
the random
time.
encounter on top of the boss encounter. Dope.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we had to end the session because everybody else has lives and obligations. So then we picked it up next week. Now, this monster I just described probably doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard of in the monster manual before. Well, remember earlier in the video, I told you about how I make my own monsters when somebody happens to use this incentive for random encounters. And for those of you who have played Demon Souls, you will recognize this monster as the Phalanx. I'll put a video breakdown of the encounter right up here. But long story short, the Phalanx encounter is one that I have designed for levels 1 through 3, something super easy to guide your beginning party into a boss fight. However, this boss fight random encounter was spawned already on top of an existing boss fight, being the Barbed Devil in the room. So instead of the party normally fighting a couple cultists and a Barbed Devil, they instead had to fight a Barbed Devil, the Phalanx, and the 9 hoplites that were attached to the Phalanx, which already seems like a very daunting task. However, our newbie player also had a trick up his sleeve.
I pull out a vial of an empty health potion that I've had. I crush the glass, take a sliver of it, and I fucking materialize Cloud of Daggers around the thing in the middle of the room.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Cloud of Daggers is a 2nd level conjuration spell that causes daggers to fill up the area of a 5-foot radius, causing all creatures in the radius to take 4d4 slashing damage on the start of their turn, which is perfect due to the fact that 10 creatures are stacked in a 9-foot cube.
So I cast it on the center of the one that's in the middle of the 8 blood orbs around it.
Okay. So what number's the save again?
There's no save.
Wait, really? There's no save?
There's no save.
And he is absolutely right. There is no save. Okay, so now with that, everybody now can roll initiative. Except they couldn't roll initiative. Remember earlier in the video when I talked about donation incentives for the stream? Well, that doesn't just include random encounters.
All right.
Actually, wait a minute.
Dude, I just rolled. No, I rolled the good initiative.
I rolled a good initiative too.
Well, no,
I haven't
actually, no,
rolled
this
yet.
is fine. This is actually fine. Everybody can still
okay.
roll just fine. But
Okay.
but the same person who donated the $50 to spawn a random encounter also decided to spawn a wild magic surge. Now, here is how I run the wild magic surge. First off, I'm not really a fan of the wild magic table that comes in the official rule set, so I decided to pick from 4 random wild magic tables that I found on the internet that were homebrewed. I roll a d4 to decide which of the 4 I pick, and then I have every single player roll on that same table, plus myself rolling for all monsters who are in the fight individually. And because this isn't the boring, normal official rules edition of the Wild Magic table, things got pretty interesting. Yaja, what number did you get?
I got a 15.
All right. So, you feel a surge of energy flowing around you, and you can't really tell what's going on here, except for you detect one presence of undead somewhere behind you. You'll have to see how that plays out later down the line.
Okay.
So what happened here is Yaja cast Animate Dead with a 1 mile radius, and I did not know how to explain this, so that's how I explained it. Zidane, what did you roll?
I rolled a 66.
66. Okay.
66, baby.
Okay,
also
so
roll.
from the now the stonework here is very like well taken care of. Like the cobblestones are very neatly packed together, yet
Yep.
somehow still bursting from beneath this tough stonework, this undead creature crawls out from right next to you and just looks at you waiting. You now have control of a ghoul.
Let's go!
You can control it?
Oh,
While you're by
Nice.
the 66, I got a 68. One away from the sex number.
What'd you get? 68?
68, yep.
By the way,
Same thing. Another undead creature of the same type bursts through the stonework, rising up, waiting for you expectantly. You now also have control of a ghoul. You guys roll really close to one
getting
another.
so many allies. We also need to roll for commander.
Yeah, I'll roll for commander because I'll be playing
roll
through.
for commander. I don't trust you.
All right.
Okay. I got a 91.
As you feel the same surge of necrotic energy follow you, it creates itself in a form of a black cloud that covers your entire party. You cannot see. Well, yes, there's a black cloud currently surrounding your guys' party that is preventing you from seeing outside of it. So Desdenova casts the darkness spell centered on himself, creating a 30-foot radius of magical darkness around the entire party. And then it was time to roll for our AFK party member commander.
He got 51.
51. I don't know what this is, so I have to look this up. So every single creature in this room is now affected with flesh rot, including the devil and all of the demons.
You and
And all creatures within 30 feet are affected by flesh rot as if by the contagion spell.
Why is this happening? Why are we still here?
Because the gods have decreed it so. So with that,
I told you we should have left.
with that, let's get some initiatives. So this was the moment that the entire fight got flipped on its head. It took me about 5 minutes to look up and then scroll through the wall of text that was the contagion spell. For those of you who don't know, Flesh Rot is one of the many possible effects that comes from the Contagion spell, which is a 5th level spell that only clerics and druids can cast. Flesh Rot causes the creature's flesh to decay. The creature has disadvantage on charisma checks and vulnerability to all damage. This was the result of the wild magic roll that caused every creature within a 30-foot radius of the caster to be afflicted with Flesh Rot, meaning every single creature basically in the entire room. So every creature in the upcoming combat was vulnerable to all damage. So every creature in the dungeon room was afflicted with this flesh rot, and the spell lasts 7 days. If a creature fails 3 constitution saving throws after being afflicted with flesh rot, they remain with the disease for the full 7 days. If they succeed 3 constitution saving throws, the disease is cured and the spell ends. But it ended up making this one hell of a fight. So the stage has been set. The magical effects have already taken effect. 2 bosses stand in the way of the players. It was time for everybody to roll initiative. However, this video is already getting way too long, and I am late by several days on uploading a video. So I am going to leave it here at part 1. I will be uploading part 2 of this insane session very soon, so be sure to subscribe and not miss that when it comes out. Or if you want to spoil yourself for what happens, you can watch the entire live stream that was uploaded to my channel. I will leave a link to the video right here. But all I will say is there was a lot more crazy, unexpected things that happened after this point, and I can't wait to show you guys all of it. So if you enjoyed this first ever D&D story live, be sure to like the video and subscribe for the next one coming up very soon. So I hope to see you guys in the next one very, very soon. And until next time, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.